It's the year 672 AD. An enormous Arab armada has surrounded Constantinople, effectively cutting the capital off from the world. The Byzantine Empire, the last surviving remnant of Rome, is trapped behind its walls, facing total collapse. Then, the Byzantines unleash their defense. As depicted in this historical manuscript, they advance in ships outfitted with bronze beast heads, using long siphons to project a roaring stream of liquid green flame directly onto the enemy fleet. The fire clung to skin and wood alike. It burned directly on top of the waves, and if a panicked crew tried to douse the flames with seawater, the liquid only spread further across the deck. This medieval napalm, known today as Greek fire, broke the siege and saved the empire. But the secret of its creation was guarded so heavily that it eventually vanished from human history. For over 7 centuries, the Byzantine navy used this substance to dominate the Mediterranean, fending off invasions and securing victories against vastly larger fleets. Enemy empires were desperate to steal the formula, and modern chemists have spent decades attempting to replicate it. Yet, the exact composition remains unknown. There are no surviving written recipes, no technical manuals, no engineering schematics exist in the historical record. Every physical trace of its manufacture was kept strictly in the minds of its creators. Curious, deliberate tone, how does an empire take its most effective military asset and allow it to completely erase itself from existence? Historians have attempted to reconstruct the fuel by looking at the symptoms reported by eyewitnesses. The weapon was pumped out under high pressure, roared like thunder, produced thick black smoke, and could only be put out using sand, vinegar, or old urine. The first suspect is saltpeter, the key ingredient in gunpowder. We can rule that out immediately. The chemical simply wasn't present in Mediterranean warfare during the 7th century. Next is quicklime. This chemical reacts violently when it touches water, which matches the behavior on the sea. However, Byzantine military manuals describe pouring the fire onto dry wooden ship decks, and quicklime needs water to ignite. That leaves us with suspect number 3, naphtha, or unrefined petroleum. Around the Black Sea, crude oil seeps naturally out of the rocky ground. It provides a highly flammable liquid base, and it produces the thick black smoke described in the chronicles. To keep the oil from washing away, the Byzantines likely mixed in pine resins. This acted as a thickener, turning the crude oil into a sticky substance that would cling to enemy hulls and sails. But while we can accurately guess the fuel, raw chemicals alone do not explain the weapon's presence on the battlefield. The Byzantines themselves demonstrated that the chemicals were only half the story in 812 AD. During a conflict with the Bulgars, an enemy force managed to overrun a Byzantine position and capture a massive weapons stockpile. During the siege of Mesembria, the Bulgars seized 36 complete Byzantine siphons, the projection tubes, along with a massive supply of the liquid fire itself. Despite possessing the physical hardware and the chemical ammunition, the Bulgars never deployed the weapon in battle. They were unable to fire it. The secret of Greek fire existed beyond the liquid itself. It was tied to the physical hardware and the specialized knowledge required to operate it. Greek fire functioned as an intricate, modern-style military supply chain. The process began with logistics. The empire sourced Black Sea oils and distant pine resins, transporting them to a central hub. Next, preparation. The mixture was heated in airtight braziers, risking catastrophic explosion. Then, pressurization. Engineers built bronze force pumps to build intense pressure. Finally, delivery. The pressurized liquid was pushed through a swiveling bronze siphon mounted on a fast dromin warship. Tying it all together were the operators. They required dangerous, specialized training to manage the pressurized liquid and light the nozzle without incinerating their own crew. If any single mechanical, chemical, or human element failed to sync, the weapon was useless. Because the system was complex, the state protected it using a strict security policy, compartmentalization. Knowledge was intentionally fractured. Shipwrights building the hulls didn't know the engineers casting the bronze pumps. Pump engineers had no contact with the chemists blending the oil. No one held the entire blueprint. This isolation extended even to secondary munitions. If we look at this physical artifact, a specialized ceramic hand grenade used in sieges, it was crafted by entirely different production teams who operated independently from the naval units. Over the centuries, the Byzantine Empire suffered a slow decline. Territory was lost, trade routes were severed, and political instability hollowed out institutions, fracturing this separated chain of experts. As those isolated specialists died out, their fragmented knowledge died with them. Greek fire wasn't defeated by superior enemy tactics or the invention of cannons. A civilization's greatest technological marvel was suffocated by its creator's own paranoia, erased forever the moment the chain was broken.